Something I learned about Tombstone, Arizona while visiting is that everything is behind a paywall. And like the main street is open. Like you can see the main street. So you can see that dirt road with the horses and the storefronts. You can see that old 1800s looking town. But everything else is behind a paywall. So, like, let's say you want to go to the cemetery, and, like, check out Boot Hill. Paywall. You got to pay to get in. Let's say you want to, go check out that world's famous rose bush. The rose garden. The world's biggest rose. Right? Paywall. It's inside a building. It's like in someone's backyard. You gotta like walk through a house. And if you like even peek in that house, they're like, hey, it costs money to look at that rose bush. You know what I mean? So like that's something that they don't tell you. That's something I guess people automatically assume because like most of the money just in the world, people, it's just income. It's just like they just spend it freely because they don't even think about it anymore. They're robotic about their income. They have like a fixed set amount that they spend on vacationing and leisure. But for those who don't, like a lot of us are kind of like, we're like expecting to go to Boot Hill and like just walk up to Boot Hill and look around at the graves and shit. No, it's not like that. It's behind a paywall. Everything in Tombstone, Arizona is behind a major paywall. And it gets expensive. Like, the bigger your family, the more expensive it is. And so, again, I'm not complaining. It's just something they don't tell you when they're advertising Tombstone. When you hear about Tombstone and when you hear about, like Boot Hill, and when you listen to Johnny Cash's song about Boot Hill, like, he doesn't say that you got to pay to get in to see the... you know what I mean? I don't know, man. But that's why I would never live there. I considered, when I went to Tombstone, I was like, wow, this place is so awesome, so much cowboy history. I would freaking live here. I would live here. And then I started trying to go and check everything out in the local area. And I was like, man, like to go to the local places that I would enjoy here every day. Like let's say I lived in Tombstone, Arizona. My activities would be so freaking limited because I wouldn't be able to go anywhere without paying to get in. So anyways, as a tourist, no complaints. Awesome place to go. Really cool tourist attractions. But I would never live there. I would just never live there because of the fact that even the locals, I don't know, maybe the locals have some kind of a local Tombstone card where they can get in places for free. You gotta tell me these things because I automatically assume that the locals are also paying the same amount as the tourists, which is like, like again, it's tourist prices. So let me know what you think about places like Tombstone, where it's like known for being a worldwide destination. People want to go there to see the history, to learn things, to see once in a lifetime things, and then they get there and they're kind of like, I wasn't even really disappointed by the fact that you've got to pay to get into the cemetery and pay to see the rose bush. I wasn't really even that shocked either, but like it made me think about what I would be able to enjoy about my town if I was a local there. Like if I lived in Tombstone, would I feel like all the cool shit in my town was behind a paywall? Would I feel like I was living at Disneyland? As an employee that still has to pay to look at everything? You know what I mean? Like, is that why everything is abandoned out there? Is because the place got overran by, like, merchants who just, like, try and market and capitalize and maximize their capital off of everything in that town, is what I noticed. Is what I noticed about Tombstone. But again, no complaints. I loved it. Cool cowboy town. I'm going to go back. Totally going to go back. But, like, I've never had to pay to get into a cemetery before. And that's a little disappointing. And I wonder if the locals have to pay.